Republicans have a 1-seat majority at this point. Is he overconfident? He has your vote?
Well, he has my vote. I mean, we voted for this last time. The Democrats, most of them voted for this. For the Democrats to turn around and vote against it on Tuesday just to shut down the federal government makes no sense to me at all. I think the Speaker, the trick is getting it through the Rules Committee. And I believe that the Speaker would not do that if he didn't have the votes.
Well, you know why we're in this situation and why those Democrats are now objecting.
Right.
Because of what happened a week ago out in Minneapolis when Alex Preddy, this
But the
ICU
DHS
nurse,
portion
was
is
shot dead
taken
by
out
Border
of
Patrol.
this. The DH portion is taken out of that
Right.
appropriations.
It's just now a 2-week continuing resolution.
To have reforms to DHS.
Reforms.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that, because the Trump administration has changed personnel. They put Tom Homan now out in Minneapolis, the border czar. They took out of that position Greg Bovino, who had been running Border Patrol. The Justice Department has also said it's open to civil rights investigation into why federal agents shot Preddy. Secretary Noem now says the FBI is taking over the probe into what happened. Are your concerns about what happened in Minneapolis satisfied?
I've called for a full investigation. DOJ has opened that investigation. Civil Rights Division would have jurisdiction over this. Look, I mean, Bovino went in there with these roving patrols. He escalated the situation. He escalated the tension between the public and law enforcement. He put his agents in a position they should never have been put in. They have no training for crowd control. Their job is to go in and remove criminal aliens, violent felons from the United States and get them out of here. And so, Tom Homan is a consummate professional. He's been doing this for a long time. I've known him for a long time. He's going to go back to the core mission of ICE, and that's targeted law enforcement operations, not roving the streets causing chaos.
But we haven't heard him say, or the administration say, that they're actually going to change tactics to do what you just said.
Well, I believe in his press conference, he did talk about de-escalation.
Yes.
He talked about going back to targeted, law enforcement operations.
Does that mean ending warrantless arrests? Is that how you
Administrative warrants have been around for a long time to sign by an immigration judge, order of removal, to go in to apprehend prisoners under ICE detainers. That will continue. The idea of an administrative order warrant being used to break into a home, that has not been the practice of ICE, and I don't think Mr. Homan's going to continue that.
Well, we heard, actually, you're right, warrantless home entries are unconstitutional. Fourth Amendment protects all people, regardless of citizenship, from unreasonable search and seizures. But, and we've seen the documentation from the Trump administration, their policy does allow for these so-called collateral arrests, where ICE officers carry out warrantless arrests of unauthorized immigrants who are not the targets, but people who are encountered during an operation, and they might be trying to leave the scene. Should the premise there be changed? Is that too broad?
Look, the target is a target. The target's the violent offender. There are plenty of those to spend a lot of time and resources on. When they do arrest the target, if there are illegal aliens with the target, they are caught in the net, and because they're in the country illegally, they are removed. And I don't think that practice will change. But the roving patrols...
Well, it did change, though, because prior administrations interpreted flight risk as not potentially showing up for a court appointment. The Trump administration interpreted it as the guy might leave the scene. And they justified some of these warrantless arrests and encounters under that. Is that too broad? Because that's part of this roving group that you're talking about.
Well,
right?
Correct. And due process applies to all persons under the Constitution. It would apply to them as well. If they're caught in the net, though, they have to be dealt with. Look, this is going in front of the courts right now.
And Democrats want to argue about this. They want changes.
Yeah, and the courts are throwing out a lot of these cases. Actually, and you're having violations with U.S. citizens being arrested unlawfully. So the American people support the deportation of criminal aliens, violent offenders. What they don't support is excessive use of force. And I believe Bovino crossed the line. I think the president was correct in telling him to get out of there. I would advise.
Should he still have a job?
Well, he's going back to his prior station.
Right.
But I would advise the secretary and the president to involve Tom Homan, and he should have been there from day one. and to
wasn't he?
utilize his expertise and his talent.
Why was he cut out by Secretary Noem?
I don't know all the inner workings within DHS on that. I can tell you, though, he is the consummate professional when it comes to ICE removal operations.